Welcome back to Reparenting Daily, guys, for another episode. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop erasing yourself and why you need to stop being so goddamn nice. Being nice, being kind, being caring, being considerate, going above and beyond, stretching into the zone of people-pleasing, over-functioning, over-giving. We need to stop this right now. The problem is that when you look around in the world, the people who are making steps forward, who are advancing, who are achieving their goals and their dreams, the people who are in positions of authority and power, who have achieved what society values, who are treated with respect, those are not the nice people. That's the unfortunate or fortunate reality now that we know. I don't know if it's really fortunate or unfortunate. But the bottom line is that if you're in this zone of nice, overly friendly, overly giving, you're getting drained. Look around. Most nice people, after some time on earth, of people exploiting you, people don't see your availability as, something to cherish or value. They see it as something to exploit, because each adult relationship is transactional. When you've come from a traumatic or dysfunctional childhood, you might be searching for that same kind of love that you had or that you needed in childhood that you didn't receive. But the problem is that when you move into the adult world, you're not going to find those same kind of relationships, because all adult relationships are transactional. And that's a very important truth that you need to hold in your head. Because if you go out looking for the things that you should have had in childhood, in the real world, I'm sure, like, not 100%, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to fail. Because there are not that many people who are on a healing path proportionate to the entire world population. There are more people on earth who are drifting towards narcissism. This is an epidemic that's been going on for a very long time. People value narcissists, actually. They worship them, they reward them, they praise them, they celebrate them, they laugh at them, or laugh with them, I should say. In many ways, it's better to be a narcissist in this society, because that's what people celebrate. Until they're on the other side of the narcissist's abuse. But narcissists make more money. This is statistically proven in research. They also don't waste money on therapy. So you're making more money and you're not even wasting money on therapy, and we're still stuck here trying to play this nice game. For what reason? Now, I'm not encouraging people to be bad, but I'm just saying the reality of the world that we live in. This red pill movement is taking steam. When you're in the process of reparenting, it's hard to try to reparent yourself from a book with a certain frame, because that's no longer applicable. The world is changing every single day so fast. Now that we have AI and all of these other technologies that are coming, the world is changing so fast. And so trying to reparent from a single, text that's giving you a way to operate from a single frame is no longer really relevant at all, and no longer really effective at all if your goal is to protect yourself, and then with that safety to be able to develop yourself and to find your happiness. That's why more people have drifted towards narcissism. That doesn't mean it's a good thing, because many people at the end of that road don't survive very well off. It might look flashy, but without anything of substance, then you'll be at the end of the road just stranded in a desert alone. And so, again, everything in life is about balance, nothing in excess. You cannot demonize narcissism. You cannot demonize greed. Without greed, our capitalist system, our innovation wouldn't. Okay, so many people are questioning capitalism. Okay, so bear with me here. But that inherent greed, or that drive that we have from capitalism, it pushes people to research, to explore, to develop new ideas, to develop new products and inventions and solutions and medicines, and that extreme drive comes from that greed to do something good for yourself, to gain a reward, to prove yourself, to boost your self-esteem, or so it's a natural force, and we owe much to that. Now, of course, it can be perverted and, we end up in situations like we are now, but I'm talking about that natural, organic drive to create something, that greed to want to build, The opposite of despair is creativity. That's why I'm always encouraging people, especially in this month of August 2025, where we are now. This month is about healing the inner child, and healing the inner child is really, if you want to sum it up in a very simple way, finding your way back to your joy. All these music instruments here, all those books there, piano here, those are the things that are important for me and my inner child. And so it's important, that you don't erase yourself. Stop being so nice. You will end up burnt out, bitter, alone, exhausted, disrespected, without resources because people won't care. The laws of human nature tells us how people respond, Socializing, although many people don't want to say it, socializing is influence, and influence is basically just manipulation. But people don't want to say it that way. But think about it, the way you dress, people will treat you differently. So you're manipulating your self-perception so that your social interactions will go in a different way. It's manipulation. The same with the words that you use, the tone that you're speaking with, the rhythm that you're speaking with, the way that you look, and the postures that you give. All of this is to affect a certain outcome, Even in the DBT skills, dialectical behavior therapy, interpersonal effectiveness section, is one of the goals there is to know your desired outcome of a certain interaction, which gives you the step to drive it and to influence or to manipulate it in that direction. So people say that influence is bad and manipulation is bad, but it is such a human and natural part of life. Even animals do this. And so in your request to stop being nice, stop holding this expectation over your head that you owe something to someone, that you owe, some kind of perfection to other people. No, you owe yourself your peace, and that is it. The right people will come along afterwards. But first and foremost, you owe yourself that peace. That is the most important thing. And from there, things fall into place. So stop being so nice. Cut off the takers. Stop giving so much and start taking more. Maybe first you need to learn how to receive, but really you need to switch your whole energy up. If you're stuck in this frame of reference, it's really, really so important that you learn to stop overgiving and that you learn to start to receive and even to take in this day and age. Stop overgiving, stop being a people pleaser. Let it at the door. It is no longer needed here. If you want to better yourself, if you want to truly heal your inner child and reconnect with your natural joy, that is going to require selfishness. Not just not being nice, but being selfish. And that's just the world that we live in these days. And it's kind of frustrating to hear that message, but at the same time, at least now you know from where to develop your next steps. And so as always, thanks for being here for another talk. Let me know what you think about being nice. How has that worked out for you in your life? I know for me, it has been the worst decision I have ever had. That's the worst lesson I learned growing up, is to be nice. The worst lesson. It literally caused people to disrespect you, take advantage of you. Now that sounds bad, but it's just the world that we live in, And so when you're reparenting, it's so important to remind yourself of where you actually are, the reality of what's going on around you, and to remind yourself that you have the right to be happy and you have the right to not be nice. So go out there and do something for yourself every single day, all day. Every question you ask yourself is, what do I need today and how do I get it? That's your mission for the rest of this year and for the rest of your life. Every day, what do I need and how do I get it? Thanks for being here. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a like, subscribe, share, and follow. Peace out.